Hello my lovelies, thank you for joining me. So today's word in Romanian is roz. Roz. R-O-Z. Well done guys, you just said pink. Rose is pink. Okay, so for today's video guys, have I got a creepy mystery for today's story. But before we get started, just a quick disclaimer, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone I talk about in the video. This is for educational purposes only, and all the information I'm giving you is already found in the public domain, and I will also be giving my opinions and my views on it. Thank you so much. I honestly have to tell you guys that I am really terrified of dolls, okay? Like seriously. Chucky completely ruined my childhood and my adult years as well. I still have nightmares and I still feel that if I don't cover my feet when I sleep, Chucky's coming. Like seriously, it's a thing you guys, okay? And only talking about it, I'm just honestly terrifying myself here, and I have to add that I'm actually alone in the house right now, so that's not helping. Oh no. Yeah, I know you could argue that, says the woman who has a mannequin on her side of the bed, I guess. Yes, I know guys, I know mannequins, they creep me out, okay? They do. Don't remind me please. Carla, she used to stay in the garage, but I don't have a garage anymore and I really need to preserve my antique Victorian dress, okay? So I don't have space anywhere else, okay? Just leave me alone, okay? Okay. Now, okay, let's get into the story. Deep in the heart of the waterways of Xochimilco, Mexico City's last remainder of the Aztecs, is one of the world's most haunted and tragic locations, Isla de Las Munecas, the island of the dolls. Just south of Mexico City is where you can find a small island with a sad background which never intended to be a tourist destination. It's dedicated to the lost soul of a poor girl who met her fate too soon in strange circumstances. Here on this single acre, which is home to 3 huts and a crowd of decaying dolls, locals swear they see ghosts and hear shadows talking. They believe it's cursed. During the time of Cortez, many people fled here to Xochimilco and hid on the canals. Gerardo Ibarra, co-founder of Ruta Origen, a sustainable travel company in Mexico, told the Post. A lot of those people were women and children hiding from the conquistadores, and many women themselves rather than be caught and raped by the Spanish. The island of the dolls was for centuries just a place to disappear. Remarkably, it's within the city limits of one of the world's biggest metropolitan areas. Mexico City was originally an island in a volcanic caldera lake surrounded by the Sierra Madre Mountains. The Aztec Empire's 1300 BC, 1521 BC was the first to start developing the area, building a system of man-made islands called chinampas, and a canal system for farmers to navigate them. After the Aztecs were defeated in the Spanish-Aztec War, 1591-1521, much of the chinampas were filled in and turned into the basis of the city that we now know, except for the most southern end of Mexico City, in Xochimilco, where the chinampas and canal system still exist, an integral part of local life and the UNESCO World Heritage Site. At times, the neighborhood was also used as shelter for Mexican revolutionaries and religious practitioners who may have fallen out of favor. Some of them ended up killed or drowned in these canals. I am going to go a bit more into the history of Xochimilco because I find it quite fascinating. But before I do that, I need to apologize to everyone in advance. I will not be able to pronounce a lot of the names that I will be mentioning, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful at all, and obviously at the risk of embarrassing myself, any word I won't be able to pronounce, I'll put it on the screen instead. These are Aztec names and I wasn't able to find anywhere a pronunciation for them. Okay. Xochimilco was the most important city of the Xochimilca people, one of the Nahua tribes that migrated to the Mesoamerica region. At the same time, it was the name of the Altepetal of this group and historically referred to both interchangeably. The city was founded around 900 AD, meaning after Jesus was born. It grew to become an important city in the Valley of Mexico, until in 1430 the Mexica of Tenochtitlan succeeded in seizing the city. The first human presence in the area was of hunter-gatherers, who eventually settled into farming communities. The first settlements in the Xochimilco area were associated with the Cuchilco, Copilco, and Tlatilco settlements during the Classic period. The Xochimilca people, considered to be one of the 7 Nahua tribes that migrated into the Valley of Mexico, first settled around 900 AD in Coahuilama, near what is now Santa Cruz Acapulco. They worshipped 16 deities, with Chantico, goddess of the earth, and Chihuacotl, an earth goddess, and Amimital, god of Chinampas, the most important. The Xochimilcas were farmers and founded their first dominion under a leader named Acatonalo. He is known for inventing the Chinampa system of agriculture in order to increase production. These Chinampas eventually became the main producer, with crops such as corn, beans, chili peppers, squash, and more. The city of Xochimilco was founded in 919. Over time, it grew and began to dominate other areas on the south side of the lakes, such as Mixchic, Tluac, Chulhuacan, and even parts of what is now the state of Morelos. Xochimilco had one woman ruler, which was unseen anywhere else in Mesoamerica in the pre-Hispanic period. She is known for adding a number of distinctive dishes to the area's cuisine, with dishes such as necuatoli, chile atole with chili peppers, esquites, and tlapiques. In 1352, then Emperor Quetzalcoatl moved the city from the mainland to the island of Tlilan. In this respect, it was like another island city in the area, Tenochtitlan. Although no longer an island, the city center is still in the same spot. In 1376, Tenochtitlan attacked Xochimilco, forcing the city to turn to Azcapotzalco for help. The conquest was unsuccessful, but Xochimilco was then forced to pay tribute to Azcapotzalco. Tenochtitlan succeeded in conquering Xochimilco in 1430, while it was ruled by Tzalpoyotzin. Shortly thereafter, Aztec Emperor Izcuatl built the route for calzada that would connect the two cities over the lake. During the reign of Moctezuma Iluicamina, the Xochimilcas contributed materials and manpower to build a temple to Huitzilopochtli. They also helped in further conquests of the Aztec Empire, such as in Cuernavaca, Salisco, and the Metzitlan and Oaxaca valleys. For their service, Ahuizotl granted the Xochimilcas autonomy in their lands, and the two cities coexisted peacefully. Aztec emperors would pass by here on royal barges on their way to Chalco Sico, then an island in Lake Chalco. Aztec Emperor Moctezuma Xocoyotzin assigned a new governor, Omcatl, onto Xochimilco due to the arrival of the Spanish, but this governor was forced to return to Tenochtitlan when the emperor was taken prisoner. He was then succeeded by Macuilxochitecutli, but 80 days later he too went to Tenochtitlan to fight the Spanish alongside Huitzilopochtli. He was followed by Apoquizatin, who remained loyal to Tenochtitlan. For this reason, Hernán Cortés decided to send armies to subdue Xochimilco before taking Tenochtitlan. This happened in 1521. During the battle, Cortés was almost killed when he fell off his horse, but he was saved by a soldier named Crisbal de Olea. The battle was fierce and left few Xochimilca warriors alive. According to legend, it was after this battle that Cuauhtémoc came to Xochimilco and planted a juniper tree in the San Juan neighborhood to commemorate the event. Pre-Hispanic Xochimilco was an island connected to the mainland by 3 ways. One of these still exists in the form of Avenida Guadalupe y Ramirez, one of the city's main streets. This way led to the main ceremonial center of the town, which was called the Quilasli, during the conquest, and replaced it with the San Bernardino de Siena church, which would become the social and political center of the colonial city. It became a settlement of the Spanish, Criollos and Mestizos, with the indigenous living in rural communities outside of the city limits. After the conquest, Apocuizatin, the last lord of Xochimilco, was baptized with the name of Luis Cortés Cerón de Alvarado in 1522, and he was allowed to continue governing under the Spanish. Evangelization was undertaken here by Martin de Valencia with a number of others who are known as the first 12 Franciscans in Mexico. Their monastery was built between 1534 and 1579, along with many chapels and churches in the Xochimilco area, a hospital in Tlacoapa, and a school. Xochimilco was made an encomienda of Pedro de Alvarado in 1521 and remained such until 1541. The encomienda was basically a Spanish labor system that rewarded conquerors with the labor of particular groups of conquered non-Christian people. The area has thousands of people, but this small island, Isla de las Munecas, is home to hundreds, even thousands of terrifying dolls. Their severed limbs, decapitated heads, and blank eyes decorate the trees. The dolls on the island are threatening even in the bright light of day, but in the dark they are particularly disturbing, as you can imagine. What's terrifying during the day becomes 10 times even worse during the night. And I know, yes. It's said that a girl was found drowned in mysterious circumstances many years ago on the island, and that the dolls are possessed by her spirit. Local legend says the dolls move their heads and arms and even open their eyes. Some witnesses claim they heard the dolls whispering to each other, while others who were on a boat near the island said that the dolls lured them to go to the island. Don Julian Santana Barrera was the caretaker of the island. The story goes that Julian found a little girl drowned in mysterious circumstances while he was not able to save her life. Shortly after, Julian saw a floating doll near the canals. Most probably the doll belonged to the girl who drowned. He picked up the doll and hung it to a tree as a way of showing respect and support the spirit of the girl. Others question even the existence of the drowned girl. Reports suggest that Julian made up the story about the girl in his loneliness. Julian was apparently haunted by the spirit of the girl, and he started hanging more dolls in an attempt to please her spirit. He soon realized that the dolls themselves were possessed by the spirits of dead girls, and continued to collect creepy dolls, hanging them over the entire island. According to those close to him, it was as if Julian was driven by an unseen force that completely changed him. Apparently, he was really affected that he wasn't able to save the little girl's life. After 50 years of collecting dolls and hanging them on the island, Julian was found dead, drowned in the same spot where the girl did. Many people on the island believe that Julian joined the other spirits of the island. The locals completely believe that the Isla de las Munecas is a possessed place. After Julian's death in 2001, the island became a tourist attraction where visitors bring even more dolls. Since Julian's death, the island became very famous and was even featured in many articles and TV shows. Even though the action of Don Julian was innocent and even admirable, it ended up being portrayed as a real horrific destination. Soulless eyes follow visitors as they visit the small island, which is actually a floating garden. So far, it seems that the girl who drowned story is not exactly real. From different accounts, there was a girl who drowned, and from others, that was made up by Julian. Rogelio Sanchez Santana is the current guardian of the dolls and the great-nephew of Julian Barrera. Rogelio is saying that in the 1950s, Julian found the body of a young girl at the bottom of the waterway just outside his door. The girl was swimming with her sister or her friends, and the current took her and then she drowned. The small islands around Xochimilco are used for farming maize, squash and chiles, which are basically chili peppers like I mentioned previously in the video. According to Rogelio, it was after his uncle Julian found the body of the girl that trouble really started. The spirit of the girl was living in sorrow, Rogelio said. In the mornings, Julian started seeing ghosts and one day woke up and found all his crops had died. He tried many things to improve his crops, but he couldn't because the spirit damaged it. He became more and more scared. End of quote. Julian built an altar in his one-room cabin on the island where he and his wife lived, hoping to please the spirit. But the spirit still came, Rogelio said, so he started collecting dolls as a way to protect himself from the spirit. Over the next half-century, Julian collected more than 1,000 dolls, some from the trash in the area's main city, others gifted by neighbors and visitors, and some given to him in exchange for crops. They are all still there, decaying, sometimes beheaded, and just really creepy. Everywhere you look, there are dirty dolls hanging from trees, nailed to buildings and other structures, strung along a clothing line. In 2001, according to Rogelio, Julian died of a heart attack in the same spot where he found the body of the girl. The spirit of the girl came to him and dragged him into the water, Rogelio said. He and his wife could never have children because of the island, so my uncle Anastasio took over. After Anastasio's death in 2019, Rogelio assumed guardianship of the island, even though he and his wife and 3 children don't live there, choosing to stay on their own island 20 minutes away. Over the years, several other imitation doll islands popped up in the canal. It is big business now, Rogelio said, but there is only one true island of the dolls. Rogelio also said that he sometimes sees some shadows in the night with the moonlight, but other visitors claim to have witnessed the dolls' eyes moving and hearing them talk. As for what will happen to the island when he dies, Rogelio said, "The ownership I leave to the dead." Now, the truth is that we will never know if really there was ever a girl that drowned in the water, or Julian simply imagined it happened. However, that just doesn't take away from the fact that the island really looks like something taken out of a horror movie, with all those weird, dirty, scary, some eyeless dolls living on it, hanging from the trees. There are around 1,500 dolls there, and I don't even want to imagine sleeping on that island. Oh my god, no thank you. I'm going to have enough trouble falling asleep tonight after this story. Yeah. And with this, I'm going to end today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.